Breaking up is hard to do. And today I want to talk about property agreements that will hold up in the event of a breakup, whether it's with your ex spouse to be or your ex business partner to be. Now, some types of contracts, some things that you usually, well, always put in writing, because if you don't put it in writing, it isn't worth the paper it isn't written on. That's an old lawyer's expression. Now, many men, especially wealthy men, think that if before they get married, they do a prenup. Now, a prenup is short for property settlement. Prenup. That's before you get married. You sit down with your wife, and to make it legal, her lawyers also, because uh, later on, a judge will look at whether the wife was properly represented. But there's going to be a surprise for most men. For instance, if you're a very wealthy guy, a millionaire, and your prenup says to the wife, and she agrees, in the event of a breakup within 10 years, she gets 100,000 cash, and that's in full settlement of all obligations. Ha, ha, ha. Not really. Because with a prenup, uh, as you probably know, I was a lawyer. I was involved in several divorces, including 5 of my own. And prenups just don't hold up at all, because a judge will say, oh, you know what? Well, he doesn't say it like that. He does it in much more judicial language. But the judge will say, you know, Mr. Millionaire, you can't just cast off a woman with peanuts, 2% of your estate. No, no way. You've got to be fair. And there's the rub. A judge will honor a prenup if, in his view, it's fair. Otherwise, he will make the same kind of a property settlement between the rich person and the poor spouse that he thinks is fair. So basically, prenups are 99% worthless. What are they good for? Well, if in advance you settle who's going to get the dog, Fido goes to the woman. And if you settle that the antique chair that he gave as a engagement present and her ring stays with her, well, that'll be enforced. But anything that gives the wealthier person a big advantage will be totally disregarded. Now, uh, prenups have a history of being uh, a false sense of security for the wealthier partner, and almost invariably, if the poorer partner wants to contest the prenup, it gets thrown out. How to divide the baby pictures? Yes, that could be in a prenup and it'll be enforced. Aha, how about custody of the kids? Now, maybe in a prenup, the wife gets custody. Maybe the husband gets the boys and the wife gets the girls. Guess what? The judge says, I don't care what the prenup says. I'm looking after the interest of the child. And so, depending on his view of who's the better parent and who can spend more time with the kid, he will decide on custody. Okay, so bottom line, if the prenup is the same as a judge would have awarded with minor details, it gets enforced. Otherwise, it gets thrown out. Now, here is the next topic. Supposing the agreement, or the disagreement, I should say, is between partners. So, you and your best friend start a little business together. Could be any business, a store, a software company, investing in Bitcoin. It could be anything. And a few years down the line, for one reason or another, there's a disagreement. Well, in my own case, I had a disagreement with my partner. I was doing all the work, and he was just engaging in yacht races with our substantial profits. So the reason that you break up doesn't matter. It's like no fault divorce. It doesn't matter. You just want to break up, and of course, one of you may want the business, or both of you may want to end up with the business without the partner. Okay, well, that's normal. If I want to break up with my partner, I want to keep all my contacts and all my uh, things that are in money, my copyrights, whatever it may be. Okay, so here is how partners can break up in a good way if they have an agreement beforehand. I have used this agreement, and when I did have breakups with partners, it worked just fine as long as they weren't irrational. And I'll talk about irrational when I tell you how it will work if you're not irrational. Okay, here's the deal. You have a buyout agreement, uh, and it'll say something like this: in the event, for any reason, the partners decide to go their own way, the property that is in dispute, partnership property, will be decided in this way. Either partner, and this almost ensures fairness, either partner can offer the other partner a buyout figure. And that partner has 2 weeks to say, I will give the same deal to you, and he gets it. In other words, let's give you an example so it's easy to understand. The business is worth $100,000. The partner who would love to have the whole business says to his partner, okay, I will give you 40,000 cash, because cash to some people is worth more than the probability of a business being in the future. Of course, either partner can think that I'd rather have the business because that'll be worth a lot more than 100,000 in 5 years. But that's, for the moment, irrelevant. So partner number one, who wants to break up badly, says, okay, I will offer you 40,000. And under the terms of this agreement that I outlined to you, the other partner can say, okay, sorry, partner, but I will give you $40,000 and I will keep all the business. And guess what? The partner number one has no choice. In other words, he has to make an offer that's high enough that he's happy to either buy or sell. Got it? Okay, I think that's pretty easy to understand. So that eliminates most partnership disputes. But here is a sideline. Suppose one partner is very rich, just like in a divorce. One partner is very rich, and he can afford to come up with 40,000 cash. Yeah, that's pin money for him. But the other partner is a poor working stiff with 7 kids, has no savings at all, and he would love to buy the business for 40,000, but he doesn't have the cash. Okay, so if you anticipate that, you can say that the person who sells, in the event of a financial disparity, will take back, if it's real estate, a mortgage payable over the next 5 years. And if it's not a real estate, a loan secured by the assets of the partnership and the word of the other partner, saying that basically he can get the business if you agreed on 40,000 for whatever cash he has, plus a loan payable monthly over the next 3 years, 5 years, whatever. a reasonable period. Okay. So now uh, that kind of agreement will really work if the partners are rational. And often in business, I should say more often in business, the partners are rational. But in divorces, woo, 1 out of 10 are rational. So I'm going to tell you a story of a divorce. I wasn't the divorcee, but I got a benefit because both parties, both people in the divorce were irrational. Okay, there was a beautiful home. I don't have to say where it was, but let's say a beautiful home, maybe in those days worth 100,000. Today, the same home is worth 1 million. But okay, let's use 1 million. I like lots of zeros. So the uh, property was up for sale with a broker, and the broker alerts me. He says, I'm having a heck of a problem with this beautiful $1 million home. I can't sell it. Oh, why? I said, why? Why can't you sell it? He said, the partners that are getting a divorce are totally nuts. Huh. Each one wants the other one to get nothing. I said, well, that's kind of typical. So I said, let me have a little look at it. So I go to the wife and I say, I heard you don't want to sell your beautiful home because you don't want your partner to get anything. Yeah, she says, I don't want that guy to get $1. I don't want him to get anything. And then I said, well, if I can ensure he doesn't get anything, would you sell to me for $1? She says, I'd sell to you for 2 cents if you can be sure he doesn't get anything. I want to ruin that guy. I want him to leave this marriage without even his underpants. So I said, okay, sign this contract. And I made an honest deal. I said, if I, the buyer, can arrange a deal to sell this property without your ex-husband getting up any money, except maybe $1, I agree to sell to you for $1. Okay, now I bet you can guess what's coming up. I go to the husband and I say, what's your story on this? He says, oh, that, I can't say it on this YouTube, that XXX of a wife, I don't want her to get anything out of this deal. What's coming up? I said, well, if I can assure you she gets nothing out of this deal, would you sell to me for $1? And he says, you're darn right I would. It's more important to me that she gets nothing than I get something. And I said, okay, sign this contract. And I have basically the same contract with him that I had with her. Now we go to an escrow. I put up $2. And the closing costs are not too bad. The closing costs are about $100. Now, normally in that jurisdiction, the seller pays the closing costs. But when the deal closed, both of them I have them in separate rooms. Boy, they sure didn't want to be in the same room. And I don't know, maybe if they knew I was getting their $1 million house for $2, they'd give up on it. But anyway, I got the title in my name, and they got a bill for $50 each. And I was kind of kidding around with them. I said, okay, well, not only did your spouse get nothing, they owe $49 to the title company. And both of them said, I'm not paying it. Well, I gladly said, I'll take care of it, kids. I'll pay that closing costs. So I paid $102 and I got a $1 million home. And that is one of the deals that I made and why I'm a little bit rich today. And with that, we're going to close and thank you. I wanted to mention I'm back in good old France, where the temperature averages 22 instead of good old Manila, where the temperature every day averaged 32 degrees centigrade. And so I'm very happy to be back and happy to be talking to you again. And I hope you like my new hairdo. Thank you.